Today we're going to be talking about credit and credit score and why I wish I had the knowledge that I have now much sooner. I learned a lot in my personal finance class about budgeting, which has helped me on my credit journey so much. Credit and your credit score is used in so many aspects of our day-to-day life, such as financing a home, financing a vehicle, and even now they are using your credit and credit score for job employment. So they will check your credit and your credit score just to see how reliable you are. We know that the way you are in one aspect of life can carry over into another aspect of life. So if you're reliable with your finances and with your credit, then we probably can trust you to be reliable on the job. Now that's not all the time, but most of the time, right? So credit is used in again, so many aspects, from financing a home, financing a vehicle, job employment, but there are also other things that credit can be used for, such as freeing up cash flow, and mitigating risk. And when we talk from a business perspective, this is the reason why businesses take out long term financing or finance long term debt, is so that they can free up cash flow and mitigate risk. What do I mean by this? So let's say you made a large purchase and you had to save up for this purchase, and those were the only extra funds that you had, and you made that large purchase. Now, let's say an emergency took place after this, and you didn't necessarily have the funds to cover the cost of that emergency. If you had good credit and you had a good credit score, if you had, let me rephrase that, if you had a credit card and you had a good credit, you would have been able to use your credit card to make that large purchase, which would have freed up that cash flow of those funds that you had saved over time to be able to cover the expense of that emergency. Let's say you got sick and had to go to the doctor and you incurred a high doctor's bill. You would have been able to take the funds that you used on a large purchase to possibly pay off, to pay for that emergency, um, instead of not having any option at all. You would have been able to take some of those funds, right? And that's how we free up cash flow and mitigate risk. Now, even vice versa, let's say you made the large purchase, but you had a credit card and you were able to use your credit card to cover that emergency and then pay it back over time. Either way, we see how we can free up cash flow and mitigate risk. So let's see. Um, Credit can be used to amplify potential gains, access opportunities, build credit history, and manage cash flow. So we just explained how we manage cash flow and mitigate risk, right? Now, there are risks in itself to using credit. You are financing debt, you are taking out debt. So you want to make sure that when you are using credit, you are making purchases that you would have already been able to afford. What do I mean by this? So if I wanted to buy a large item, and I'm going to just say a purse for the sake of just coming up with something quick, and that purse was an expensive purse, maybe $1,000 purse. You want to make sure that you already had that $1,000, that you could have went and bought that purse cash, right? But we're going to use our credit card just to free up that $1,000 and pay it over time to maybe invest in some other places to, again, increase our potential gains, right? But you never want to go and make a purchase that you could not afford from the beginning, because you never had that money in the first place. And this is how people get themselves into debt when using credit, by making purchases that they could not afford from the beginning. So you always want to make sure that you had that money in cash, But what we're doing is we're just freeing up cash flow. That way, you know that you can pay off those debts. Another thing that I learned about credit, right, is your utilization rate. When I went and got my car, my credit score was like 780, and I had elite utilization rate of 7%. Now, it's not that anymore. Obviously, I have been putting my credit into play. But having that low credit utilization rate really boosts your score, which gives you more access to credit and more, opportunities. So we just talked about how credit can help you access opportunities. So having that low utilization can boost your score and help you access um, those opportunities. So and those opportunities could be low interest rates, and a host of other things. So when I got my vehicle, my interest rate was just only 3% on that vehicle. um, let's see. So essentially, I wanted to say just a few things to keep the video short, but again, the benefits of credit and having a good credit score really helps. We know a lot of people are living check to check, and if they knew the benefits of having good credit, um, having a good credit score, being able to access credit to be able to free up some of that cash flow, of living check to check, they would be able to save more, to invest in other areas, to be able to gain more opportunities, to amplify potential profits, free up cash flow, mitigate risk. Just so many things that um, we tried to cover as much as we could in this short time. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about credit and credit score, and how much it has benefited me to be able to understand these things and be able to leverage it in my life. And I wish I would have been able to leverage these things a little bit sooner in life. But hey, better late than never, better late than sorry. So that's really all I wanted to say. So until we meet again.